All right, so April, now what I'd like to do is I'd like to go on and talk to you a little bit about what we're going to do. We talked about, what the problem was. You're subluxated,
Yep.
right? And as a result of that, your body's innate intelligence couldn't communicate properly over the nerve system to allow your body to go through its normal self-healing processes, right?
Yep.
We talked about how you got this way. We talked about all those different layers of subluxation, that occurred. And now what I want to do, as I said earlier, is I want to talk about how we're going to correct this problem, okay? So the terminology we're going to use is we're going to adjust you, okay? And a chiropractic adjustment is usually done by hand, although there is some instrumentation today. But the goal of the adjustment was to go in and reset the function of the nerve system. To go back to the metaphor we talked about earlier, when we talked about how, the straightener and everything is all on and you blow the circuit, trip a breaker switch. It's the same kind of thing as that, when you go in and you basically, turn the breaker switch back on to allow the system to come back to normal function, right? It's a metaphor, but it's a similar process with a chiropractic adjustment. It goes in and basically resets the nerve system to get everything back, to working back to normal. Does that make sense, April?
Yeah.
Once the nerve system can back online or start to function properly, then that normal reparative process, that normal healing process that the body's programmed to do can start to kick in. The body can go through its natural cycles of cell repair, and the body comes back to where it can start to shut off the alarm system, which says, hey, you've crossed threshold, you've got a problem, and the body just continues to go on its healing, on with its healing mechanisms. Okay. Where this situation, the chiropractic adjustment, is different than turning on a breaker switch, April, is that the body is not as mechanical as that, as an electrical switch, okay? In other words, you turn an electric switch on, it's either on or off, right? With the human body, with the nerve system, it remembers things in layers, as we said, but it actually, the key part to that discussion is it remembers things. It has memory, okay? So in some ways, April, adjusting subluxations is a lot like breaking down a bad habit that you have. I don't know if you're ever one of those people, April, that, did you ever bite your nails by chance?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Was that an annoying habit?
It was.
Did you ever break the habit?
I did. Yeah.
And did it take some time to break the habit?
It took a long time.
And why did it take time, April? Just out of curiosity.
Because it was just, I'm not sure. Like, it was a habit. I've done it for so many years, so it took a lot of years to stop doing that.
Absolutely. And so again, it's wisely said, it's like it's a habit. It's just something you do. It's a memory, basically, April, that says that, when my fingers are in my belly, I'm going to chew on them, right?
Yeah.
And so adjusting these subluxations to get your body back to its normal function, April, is a lot like breaking a bad habit like that, okay? Is we're going to go in and we're going to do it repeatedly, just like you said, it took time to break that habit because your body wants to go back to its old memory. So we're going to reset the breaker switch, and then your body's going to go, yeah, but I kind of remember being like this. And it's going to go back to that habit. And we're going to tell it again, and we're going to tell it again, and we're going to tell it as many times as we need to until the body basically comes back to its optimal state where it starts to memorize the new pattern and forgets, or what we call dehabituates, the old pattern. Okay? Does that make sense, April?
It does.
Okay. So what comes up for me now, April, is this, well, how long do we have to do this for, right? As you said, with the habit of biting nails, it took years. And that's why someone who makes the choice, you do, April, that's committed to getting their, the health problem corrected, not just a Band-Aid put on it. That's why I said it usually takes 9 to 18 months. Now, the variable is how often we need to see you during that time. And again, a lot of that depends upon your history and, the severity of this and how long the problem's been there. There's a lot of variables, April, but that's why I give it such a wide range. But just like when you're biting your nails, in the early part of that, dehabituation process or learning to not do that anymore, you've got to be told more often than you will later on, correct?
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to be telling your nerve system not to be this way as often as we can and in the early stages until we start to see that it's starting to basically unlearn the old habit, and we're going to teach it a new habit.
Okay.
Does that make sense, April?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how often we're going to see early on, April, is going to be a little bit based upon you, because there's two costs for you to be here. There's your personal time, and of course, there's the financial obligation. Okay. And keeping those two things in check, we want to see you, as I said, as often as we can, but not like overloading your system and causing you a bunch of financial stress and a bunch of time stress because you're a busy person, you've got lots of things to do. So we're going to be doing basically about 15 inputs or ish inputs or adjustments, April, early on. We can either do that like 5 times a week for 3 weeks, or we could do it like 4 times a week for about 4 weeks. We could do it 3 times a week for 5 weeks. We could do it twice a week for 7 weeks. Like, it's all in that range, April, and we're going to end up getting the same results. The difference is going to be how quickly we get there, right?
Okay.
And I know you're not sleeping well. I know you're really interested in getting this problem corrected and getting back to normal function, get back to sleep. So again, based upon your wishes, your value systems, April, will dictate, which one of those choices. We're going to get the same results. It's just going to take us a little bit longer if we can't see you as often.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So based upon that discussion, but what do you think might fit you and your family best at this point?
Maybe 3 times a week.
3 times a week. You know what? Great choice. I support that. And that's actually what a lot of people choose. They're able to, fit that in their life and make it work. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to set up the initial cycle of care at 3 times a week for that 5 weeks. And then we're going to be doing what we call a progress exam or progress review, where we're going to stop the entire wheels of motion. We'll redo all of the initial tests that we did again, and we'll see monitor your progress, see where you're at. And from that, April, we'll decide what the next best step is. Do we carry on at that frequency? Do we increase it? Do we decrease it? It's all going to be based upon your body, how it's responding, and what our testing shows us.
Okay.
All right, does that make sense?
It does.
Any questions for me?
Not at all.
All right, let's leave it there then, okay?